Well, g'day everyone, here for another show from the Ordinary Guitarist, and I'm going to play something as well, which is pretty ordinary, but at least it'll show you how this device sounds. Now today we're going to look at the Two-Notes Revolt guitar that I've purchased. So this is not sponsored, I've purchased this with my own money, and I thought I'd take you through it just to show you some of the controls and how it sounds. And what's available with it. So we'll have a look at the unit first. So let me switch down. So this is the unit itself. You can see it's two notes and it's called the Revolt guitar that we're looking at there. Now, just to sort of take you through what's in this, and on the back of this, if I turn this around, you've got a balanced audio out through here. This is your 12 volt DC. It's a 600 mA input into there, but it does work with less than that. I've actually tried it and it does seem to work okay, so you know that's something interesting, but it probably is best to power this up. It does say that it's got a transformer inside, or it converts the power up to give the full effect from for this tube. So there is like a step up transformer inside that will give this enough power to actually function on 12 volts. Also, you've got a ground lift here, which you would use if you're having grounding issues. There's MIDI in and out, and there's a whole stack of things that you can do with MIDI if you want to. I'm still learning MIDI, so I've got to learn how to get my head around that side of it. There is separate ways that you can wire this up, and I'll talk about this in a second, actually. There's an out, a return, a send, and an in. So you can wire this up to your amp's effects loop. And I'll just show you that quickly, how that works. So a couple of ways that you can use this. You can see here that it's stating that go direct. So in other words, what you would do is your instrument or pedal board goes into the in, then you'll have your send going into your pedal board or something like a cab M as well, or your reverb. Then it goes back into the return, and then the balance out goes to your audio interface. So that's one way of using it. There's another way too, which is called the 4-cable method, which is what I was saying about the FX return. So in this situation, you would have your instrument going into here, then your send will go into your amp output, or which goes into your FX send. It will go into your FX send here, and then back into the return, and then the amp return will go back through here. Now, if you do that, you've just got to select on the device itself, which I'll show you. You do have to turn this on, and you'll turn the cab sim off. It does mention that in the manual that you can read. Now, the cab sim here, if you turn this on, is based on a Marshall. It's based on a Marshall 4x12. It's a slash signature cabinet. Now, that will come out of the headphone here as well. So you will get the sound of the cab through there, and you'll also get it coming out of your balanced out as well. So if you wanted to hear that cab effect, you could get it through that as well. It won't come out of your out through here. So that's basically the setup from the back there. And like I said, on the front you've just got the headphones, your auxiliary in. If you wanted to put music or something in there, you could do that. You have your cab sim and the 4-cable method as well. So now that you've looked at those controls, we'll look at how the unit actually works. And so I'll show you the front interface of this. So there is no on-off switch for this. You just basically pull the power out, or turn the power off if you want it to work that way. Now, there's a couple of sections with this. Now, let me just show you. There's a clean section here, which is the American clean. There's also the British crunch and the modern lead. Now, before I sort of talk about those, let me just explain what these actually are. So this clean channel, which is your channel 1, is just called American clean. Now, basically, it says that it's everything you expect from an early 70s California vintage tube amp, engineered to make your pedals like a dream, sound like a dream, and sing with a warmth, definition, headroom you demand. This will take pedals. It takes pedals really well right the way through, actually. Now, the second channel is based on, well, they call it British crunch. It's based on a plexi, and it just says here that you think of Hendrix, Clapton, and things like that. It's got great mid-range there as well, and it basically says that it's nothing that this channel can't handle. So, and I'll play these so you can sort of hear them as well. So your next channel is the lead channel. This is based on a Soldano, so it's really good if you're dealing with, you know, that high gain type lead. Great for sustain and things like that. So there are your three channels. You've got clean, crunch, and lead. The big benefit here of this unit is it's using the tube. And it does give you a sound like a tube amp. And I think it's quite successful. I mean, look, everyone sort of hears different things, but I really like the sound that's there. You can change this tube out in 5 minutes if you want to do it. You can just unscrew the back and then put a new tube in there. Or if you wanted to try different tubes, you can actually put different tubes in there if you wanted to have, you know, like a different sound. So that's great. Like I said, there is an overdrive circuit in here, or there's a transformer in here that gives enough power from the 12 volt to drive this, because you do need the power to be able to drive that. So it has got that inside of this unit itself. You'll notice that with the controls, the clean channel has its own independent controls, and the British Crunch and the Modern Lead do share some controls, so I'll talk about that as we go through them. To turn the unit on, all you do is you just have to press. It will work now as it is, but it'll be bypassed, so it's completely bypassed and it won't have any of the tube effect that's in there. To turn the unit on, you just press this here. Now, if you wanted to turn that off, you can press both of these, which will then switch the unit off. Now, there's three sections to this. Obviously, you've got your American Clean, and then you've got your British Crunch and Modern Lead share the interface that's between them. Like your American Clean here has its own independent gain, bass, treble, and volume that you've got here as well. If you press it down, you'll notice that the tube inside glows red, so that means it's in its boost stage. This gain knob will be how much sort of crunch or gain you get on your clean channel, which is really nice. So if you want it more clean, you can just use it like this. If you want to go into your gain type, more crunchy type effect, you can use the red channel there by pressing it down. The next two that we'll look at are the British Crunch and the Lead. Now you'll notice too that I'll switch over here. If you look, it shares a boost over everything, so that's shared. But they'll also have its own independent gain and volume. You'll notice here the Modern Lead too will have gain and volume as well. The lights do change to sort of show you which one that you're on. Now, the thing that this does share though here is it shares the bass, the mid-range and the treble. So you'll notice on this side of it you've got a mid-range which you haven't got on the clean channel that you've got over here. Again, if you press that down, it will go red, which means it's going to be overdrived by this boost that you're sort of setting through here as well. So before I show you the controls individually, I'll connect my guitar and I'll give you a listen to how they sound all together. What I thought I'd do is I'll play you a little bit of a recording that I did last night. I just did it on my looper, and each one was just recorded independently, and you know, I did it in one take. So you can have a listen to that, and then I also had a drum machine put into it as well, so it'll give you an idea about how this sounds. I did use the guitar with an octave pedal as well to give me the bass sound. So it's not a bass in there, it's actually the octave that's in there. So it's just, anyway, it gives you a quick demonstration of how this sounds. So let's have a listen to that now, and I'll be back to show you the controls. Okay, so hope you like that. Like I said, there's a reason why I'm the ordinary guitarist. Let's have a listen now to how this sounds when I plug my guitar into it, and I'll show you each individual channel so you can get an idea about how this sounds. Okay, so what I've done now is I've got it connected. I'm just using the balanced audio out here going into my audio interface, which is an Audio Fuse Studio over here that you can see. And at the moment, what I'll do is I'll just turn this off so you can hear this straight without it. So that's without that. Now if I turn the cab off, there'll be no difference at this stage because I haven't got anything turned on. But if I switch this on, now I'm coming through the actual unit itself. So I'm using the tube here. hear that now with the cab. Now if I turn the cab off, I can hear the difference. I just don't know how that's going to come through the sound through YouTube. But now let's have a look. So here at the moment on the clean channel, you'll notice that if I bring the bass down, you have got a lot of control actually over the tone. So you have got an awful lot of control there, even though you've only got a bass and a treble. Now your gain is just the amount of crunch that you'll get. Now that may be a bit loud. So I'll just turn this volume down a bit, just so I'm not peaking. Okay. If I press on the clean channel again, you'll get the crunch version. So that's without it. And like I said, you've got full independent control of your volume here and also your gain. Now, if I wanted then to switch to the crunch channel, and I love the crunch more than anything with this, I'll just play a note. Now, you'll notice if I come into the crunch, like I said, this is my favourite channel, actually. I love that sound. Now if I press on the gain channel here, the boost, it gives you a really nice effect. And again, that is dependent on how much boost you turn on here, how much drive that will sort of pull in. So I should say that when I use these high gain channels, I do use a noise gate. I use the decimator, which takes all of that out, because it will bring that sort of sound that you'll get, you know, through your strings and your guitar. So like I said, if I wanted to turn up the gain and get this really crunchy, you can see it's quite noisy. That's why I like to use a noise gate on it. So that's that side of it. And again, you've got full control over the tone here. So you can just get it to whatever sort of sound that you like. And then the lead one, which is but like I said, based on the Soldano, is this. If we hit that, you'll get the overdrive version of it as well. Again, you can just come down, or if you wanted to then turn it off again, you could just switch through here, and you're back to your full, and you're just back to your bypass. So that's the way that could work. I do use this on my pedal board, and I've got other drives coming in after this, like the Echo and things like that, and it works fine. It even works well with fuzzers and things like that. So it's great. It seems to be just like using a normal amp. It's really good. So what do I think about it? I really like it, because if you haven't got the money to, say, buy a full amp with tubes in it, or you just want to practice, say, on your own and have headphones so you don't have to worry about, annoying the neighbours or things like that, this is fantastic. Or even just to use this on your board if you want to get a nice sort of British crunch or the Soldano sound. I particularly love the British crunch sound. I love that. That's the one I'm mostly playing on. In fact, that's what I recorded the audio that you played, that you heard before when you heard the whole song put together. So I really like it. I think it's a great system. And I think for the money, it's certainly well worth it. Like I said, I'm not sponsored by them at all. I paid for this, so I don't have to say sort of anything good about it. I'm just telling the truth as I actually see it. So apart from that, everyone, thank you so much for the people that have subscribed. I'd love it if you could subscribe and give me a thumbs up or whatever to get the channel out there. And I'll see you all soon in the next video. Bye for now.